You're right, Susan. It's a little bit of cloud cover out there, but overall, not a bad setup here. On this Friday, hello, everyone. I'm wave meteorologist Brian Good. Welcome to at least the start here of the weekend. Some of you looking forward to next weekend already to kick off for Memorial Day. We're going to be covering that outlook for the extended coming up here in just a second. We do have some rain, though. That's going to be coming our way here into the short term, but overall, not a bad setup. Relatively quiet weather for us, other than of course, the action we had there on Tuesday, but the past couple of days have been really, really nice. So I hope you guys are ready for the weekend. I'm not sure what you got planned. There's a lot of events taking place, a lot of games taking place. And of course, we're getting ready for a lot of the events heading to the holiday weekend. Everyone's going to be out camping. What's everyone doing now for Memorial Day? Lakes, right? Go to the lake, ride the surfboard. No, you don't do that here, right? You don't do surfboards. A sea-doo, maybe a sea-doo, whatever you got planned. Have safe, have a good time. We do have some summer-like weather coming our way, which I'll cover here in just a second. I do want to at least mention, though, this rain chance that is coming our way as we head into tonight and for part of very early on Saturday. And it's not anything to be overly concerned about. Notice the severe risk is not even listed for this event for later tonight and early tomorrow. I'll explain why that's the case coming up. And then we get into a quiet set for the rest of the weekend. So it makes sense that those days are not listed. At the moment, it is actually a little more on the cloudier side. I think Susan put it best, our comment there about how the clouds are filling in there in Georgetown into Indiana. Yeah, we're seeing the same thing here in Louisville. These are not exactly rain-producing clouds at the moment, so I don't see any worry there. There could be a brief sprinkle off to the east, but that's about it. Our main chance is going to kick in a little more later today. Update on the wildfire smoke everyone's been talking about. Maybe done a lot of sneezing here lately. This is really in the upper layers of the atmosphere, but it can work its way down, and it will, once we get some rain involved, briefly get mixed in with the rain. So you may have a little bit of that kind of that dusty look on your car if it's a lighter rain until it becomes heavier. You see tomorrow's dust forecast for the smoke. I should say, we don't issue this forecast very often, but thank you, Canada. But here's the Canadian wildfire smoke futurecast. Doubt I'll have this map again, but you never know. You can see it does scoop it up right ahead of the rain itself as it passes on by the area. Nothing major here to talk about, but at least want to mention it. If you've had a little bit of an issue at times in breathing or sneezing or anything like that, there could be some relation to that, but nothing major. All right, radar at the moment, it is quiet. Cloud cover right over us. It's building in across I-65 up to I-71. Again, this is more of a low to mid deck layer of clouds. Still associated with that area of low pressure. It's across the eastern part of the country, spinning there in the Carolinas. Not too concerned about that. We have a front moving in to the west of us. That's what's going to be our game player tonight for increasing the rain. Now, as it gets closer, the two of these may try to become friends, and we may see one or two quick downpours that could fill in this afternoon. Once we get a little bit of heating into the lower 80s today, that may be enough to pop one or two downpours. I don't see anything severe with that, but just be mindful that is possible before we get to the line of rain that'll move in tonight. The actual Storm Prediction Center outlook, their forecast. We do not have the marginal risk here. We have this slight risk here south and west. Makes sense so far in the data. Having said that, I do think there is a chance for a brief gusty thunderstorm as it approaches for this evening for Indiana. Tomorrow, the severe risk goes to the south. The entire main energy of this system is heading southeast, not northeast. So everything is sinking away from us, not toward us. So again, we are on the good side, if you will, of the system. Here's one of our in-house models. I hope you can see everything well in this. I know it's kind of small at times. Actually, let me go ahead. Let me remove my name. Let me get this full screen. There you go. Is that better? Hope that's better because I want you guys to see us as close as you can. Notice we got a few of those pop-ups that try to form this afternoon. They develop, and they're very isolated when they form this afternoon. That's the stuff that's going to be, hold on. It's more the gap trying to fill in these little pop-ups. Again, still separate from the main line. But that would be close to, 5, 6, 7 o'clock. We'll get to see a few downpours pop. Once we get into later on tonight, say around the midnight hour, that is when we start to get this line a little more organized. Now, I still have doubts that this is going to be a completely solid line. So rain chances are going to vary here depending on how this plays out on your location. But when they initially arrive at about midnight, there are signs that one or two of these could be on the gusty side. Otherwise, this is a rain event. And this portion of the line that moves through Louisville at around roughly midnight to 2 a.m. will actually be weakening. What is interesting about this is when you look across central and southern Kentucky, there has been a decent signal past couple of days. This area will actually flare up during the overnight. Don't see anything severe, but I do think you may have some very heavy rainfall and loud lightning and thunder. So that may wake you up early on Saturday. If you are near or south of the parkways, be aware of that. Again, the rest of the area, including Louisville at this point by sunrise tomorrow, it's mainly light rain and coming to an end. So that is good news for the rest of the day on Saturday because we get this out of here. The sun will come out and we get some pleasant air, temperatures in 70s. It looks gorgeous as we get into Saturday. All right, it's all about the rain tonight. Sunday, same ordeal, looking great. A lot of sunshine, temperatures in the 70s, close to 80 degrees. We'll take it. Here's the reason why on severe weather that I'm not overly concerned. This is the sheer wind fields, basically. If you've watched enough, and I'm sorry I cut it off, but 40 knots is kind of the benchmark. And hold on, let me change the color of my pen here because you're not going to be able to see what I'm doing. Hold on one second. I click this, click that, click this. There we go. There we go. All right, now up here, hope that's better. That's usually about where your 40 knots is. That's my personal rule that I give myself to look at severe wind potential. Right now, it's coming. There's a spike as we head into tonight around midnight, but it's not to that level. So that's good. That's the reason why I don't see severe weather, but maybe a gusty storm. I think that's fair. I think it's gusty now, high enough on the range there that it's possible. Okay. And looking at the fuel, the Cape, if you will, majority of that will be this afternoon and then fades out. By the time the storms actually push in and form, we'll be on the downward tick on that. So it's really only for the first couple of hours. And because of where Indiana is and the angle of the front will be, I think you guys will carry the main thunderstorm chance. And we'll keep an eye on what happens across areas of southern Kentucky for overnight. My only issue with that is not really so much severe as that you really could get some very heavy rain, Adair, Greene, Taylor County. That is possible. So we'll be watching that. Next week is going to be a thorn in our side because we have a large high that's going to be parked right over here, northeast of us. It's going to be our protector for the majority of the week, keeping things very quiet in our area. At the same time, heat is going to be really building here across the Midwest, Central Plains. And that's where your main humidity will be as well. So the kicker in this whole entire forecast is not really so much these two features. It's the one right over Georgia. This low pressure is going to be the main issue. Some modeling wants to bring it right over our area, middle of the week, into about Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe even Friday, and kind of just lingers for a while. Some hold off and bring it in a little more toward the Memorial Day holiday weekend and perhaps even toward Memorial Day and keep it more south. Why is that important? Well, without this low being overhead, temperatures will have no problem getting into the mid 80s, perhaps even 85 to 90. If we were to have this low pressure over us, temperatures would actually be more like 68 to 75. So a big difference on how this will affect the weather. And if you've got plans to head south toward Memorial Day weekend, towards, say, Florida, be aware this low may even try to develop a tropical characteristic to it, by the way. But this low, if it gets stuck down there and leaves us alone, it may influence your plans if you're going to Florida for Memorial Day. So just be aware of that. Otherwise, the heat will continue to build. Still think 90 is reachable in this kind of a pattern. You see the low just kind of is stuck there in the southeast corner. The other modeling, again, is trying to bring it a little closer to us. But right now, I think the idea of it being near Florida makes a little more sense. And it's tough to get to 90 with a very green ground. But if we go the entire week without rain, I do think 90 can be reached at some point for the holiday weekend. It'll be the first 90 of the year. But the humidity level will be slower to rise. So that's good. It's going to be a very warm week. Even if we were to stay away from that low pressure, it's going to be very warm every day, but the humidity will stay low. So you'll have nice, decent swings in temperature from morning to afternoon. So that'll be a little more comfortable outside. But by the holiday weekend, we probably will start to feel the air that you can wear, as we always say. So that's the game plan, guys, between now and the end of May. Any questions, comments? Angie is going to the beach. Which beach are you going to, Angie? Let's see. Lauren is, I love your jacket. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. It's, I'm running out of things to wear, so I grabbed whatever I could today. Let's see. Glenda, good morning. Love the sunshine. Got a lot of the yard work done yesterday. Me too. The biggest issue I had, I was telling Tawana about this, is, Panama City. Oh, very cool. Very cool. I came home yesterday and my pond was about, maybe about 4 inches of water was left in it when I got home, and I went into full panic mode because I thought I had a leak in the pond. And that pond is about 10 years old. And there's enough water. The turtles were okay. The koi were okay, but the time was running out. And luckily, it wasn't anything as bad as the leak. It was actually one of the waterfalls I had in there actually was tilted somehow, probably from the Tuesday heavy rain. So it was just constantly draining all day while I was here. Yeah, anyway, lesson learned on that one. But if you guys have koi ponds or anything like that, you know that's a scary moment when you see that because you know how much work that is to try to repair those. All right, guys, I'll work quick. Let's see. Johnny, I'm going to get your question. Pretty dry next week. Overall, yes. And I know the one question I get for this time of the year is people want to paint their deck or they want to do fertilizing, grassy crops, gardening, whatever. So I know this low pressure is going to be important because if we don't have it, it will be a dry week. But if the low does move closer to us or get involved right over us, we will have a daily rain chance. So there's two different scenarios here. I think this one right now of a drier one at the moment, to me, looks most likely. All right, I'm going to wrap it up for now. Good to talk to you guys as always. Have a good Friday, everyone. I will see you guys coming up on midday at 11 o'clock, and we'll just see how things are looking for that band of rain moving in later tonight and into early on your Saturday. Have a good one. See you guys on the flip side.